Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates every single day the people who are working so hard every day to make coastal Mississippi a better place to live, work, and play. Hope you're having a great day. I've got a quote for you from Conan O'Brien. This is something he said as he was signing off his late-night TV show after 28 years. Incidentally, he's going to be starting a new show. It's going to be interesting because he's a very talented guy, funny guy, a weekly variety show on HBO Max. But here's what he said. It's not easy to do, but try. Try and do what you love with people you love. And if you can manage that, it's the definition of heaven on earth. I swear to God, it really is. When I read that, I thought about my career. No matter which step in my career I was in, I always enjoyed the people that I worked with. I really did, and it really helped make the world, your work world a lot more fulfilling. In fact, I often said this: that you spend more time with the people that you work with than you do with your own family. So you might as well set a course to enjoy working with the people that you work with. And even though I do this gig just 1 hour a day, I'm still, you can call me retired still. I'm pleased that I have the opportunity to work with people like Cal Curley, who's an amazing producer, and Steve Davenport, who owns SuperTalk, and Kim Dillon, who's the president of SuperTalk, and people like Kenny Vest, who's going to be joining me in the second half of this show. Hey, I got a note from Eric Hill recently. He's the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship at Mississippi State, and he's been on the show several times. He's a leader around the issues that you hear me talk about a lot around the new economy. He's actually one of the people who among others, talks about the Silicon Delta. He really believes there's an opportunity in Mississippi to really take these technology jobs, these remote technology jobs, and I say the pandemic sort of put that on steroids, the opportunity to work as a technology employee and live wherever you want to live, that Mississippi's in a great place. And one of the things he often talks about is that we have to build the kind of places where they can find a spouse. That's such an interesting way to say it, because essentially what he's saying is that the people who work in the new economy, let's say a technology job person is working remotely, they will pick the town that they want to live in based on this. They want to live, work, and play in it's basically the same general area. That's why mixed-use developments downtown are so popular. I had the opportunity to visit with Paige Roberts last week. I went to visit her. Paige is the CEO of the Jackson County Chamber. And we took a walk downtown. We walked all over downtown Pascagoula. And we walked into, under construction, literally today as we speak, a number of mixed-use projects. It was incredible. What's happening in Pascagoula is truly amazing. The best word I could use was wow. Anyway, you also heard me talk about, as recently as last week, a conversation with Mayor Billy Hughes, that there's a mixed-use development, $30 million mixed-use development planned for Gulfport at the corner of 49 and 90. It's an amazing project, and it's the kind of thing that's evolving, and you're going to see more of in coastal Mississippi that's going to position us to be successful in this new economy. I actually, just in case you're interested, I had an entire show with Stuart Speed, who is a developer of that project in Gulfport. If you missed it, you can go to Facebook. Just go to the search bar on Facebook and put Coast Vue Stuart Speed. By the way, if you miss any program of anyone that you want to see, that's the way to do it. Just put Coast Vue, whatever the name is, and it will come up with some of the choices that you'll get. What Eric wanted to tell me, though, in his note to me was that he's on the board for an organization called the Mississippi Coding Academies, better known as the MCA. That organization is a collaboration between Innovate Mississippi and the governor's office via the Mississippi Development Authority. They're focused on non-traditional paths to create new and diverse software professionals. And they offer improved economic opportunities for Mississippians, particularly the disadvantaged and the underserved. This organization is one of the critical elements of our efforts to create this Silicon Delta that I'm talking about, and we're going to be talking about that more in just a few minutes. But Eric reminded me that he had written about the MCA, the Mississippi Coding Academies, in this really widely distributed article article that he wrote about Mississippi setting a goal of becoming the Silicon Delta. And, I remembered it once I went back and checked it. And so what they're doing now in this program is they're developing and teaching developers in 11 months. 11 months. Think about this for a minute. And a new program is about to get launched here in Biloxi this coming fall. To talk more about all of this, I've invited Dr. Sarah Lee from the University of Southern Mississippi. She's the director of the School of Computing Sciences and Computer Engineering at Southern Miss, and she's joining me this morning on Coast Vue. Sarah, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
It's good to see you. So you heard all of that. Mississippi does have a unique opportunity, doesn't it?
We absolutely do. There's so much untapped talent and potential here in the state.
And, computer programming, as you well know, if I were to say anything about the future, anything about the future and the present, it would be that technology will always be, from this point forward, a major part of economic success and opportunity as well, won't it?
Yes, I mean, computing is everywhere. Regardless of the vocational path that you choose, you're going to intersect with computing. We need our youth to have computational thinking skills, regardless of what kind of work they go into. If you go to work in a manufacturing plant, you're going to be working with robots and, working with computing and solving problems using technology. So, regardless
technology, I talk a lot about artificial intelligence and social media. Today we'll scratch the surface a little bit on cybersecurity, which is a major issue these days. There's a lot to talk about. But Eric tells me you were actually at Mississippi State for 12 years, and as you probably well aware, he's a big fan of yours.
Oh, yes. I had a great time at MSU, and I really enjoyed working with Eric. My primary career was at FedEx Corporation up in the Memphis area. I worked in their information technology division. Great company to work for, but I had a midlife crisis and said, I think I want to do something different. And I'm super passionate about broadening participation in computing. So in that crisis, I said, I think rather than going and getting a sports car, I'll go and get a PhD. So I worked on that while I was at FedEx with the intent to come back home to Mississippi. I'm a native of Lowndes County, Mississippi, and actually a fifth generation native of Lowndes County. Wanted to come back to my home state and broaden participation in computing, particularly with a focus on women. Women are very underrepresented in computing. And I saw that in my career at FedEx. FedEx is a great company for women. And there were a lot of women in our IT division, but we're still underrepresented. Across the country, only about a quarter of computing professional jobs are held by women.
That's interesting because, Eric brought that to my attention. He said it's a rarity. Having a woman in your role is a rarity in and of itself. But he also mentioned that he thought that the commitment that you've made to coastal Mississippi is fantastic. And, he really wanted to be sure that you're on the show. And we're going to come back to that program that starts in the fall here in just a second. Tell me more about what you do at Southern Miss.
Well, I'm director of the School of Computing Sciences and Computer Engineering, and we have 3 undergraduate majors. We have IT, computer science, and computer engineering. We have a master's degree in computer science and a PhD in computational science. We've added a certificate program in applied cybersecurity, and we've added several new cybersecurity courses that will launch this fall. It's a program with about 350 undergraduates here, looking to grow that across our campuses in Hattiesburg and on the Gulf Coast. We have a computer science major in Long Beach.
That's good. Hey, look, you mentioned cybercrime, but man, every time you turn around, you hear about another hacking that's taking place. I read something about Microsoft yesterday. And Russia's sort of denying it, as you well know, but it's not just Russia; it's China. It's all over the world, actually.
Right.
And what I read recently, where literally the damage is done by cybercrime, well into the trillions of dollars. This is something we've really got to work to get a better handle on, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I've said for several years, and it was at Mississippi State where I got involved in cybersecurity education. Everyone needs to be on the cybersecurity team. Everyone needs to have some level of training in cybersecurity, because it's not just a group of people off in a room somewhere who will keep us all safe. And until we're all safe online, none of us are safe. The threat vector is changing every day. Those who are trying to attack are looking for new ways in, and it may not be through your computing department. It could be through your administrative assistant, your accounts payable person. So those skill sets are super important. There are a lot of open cybersecurity jobs, about 500,000 in the U.S. There are about a million open computing jobs across the country. But with cybersecurity, a lot of those open positions are in protect and defend. And so that's what we want. We want to grow some of that talent here in Mississippi in reference to the Coast program that you mentioned.
So what we're going to do when we come back, we'll talk about the Coast program. We'll complete this conversation about cybersecurity and why it's so critical, and how much smarter these guys are getting these days. It's incredible, and it's hard. You got to stay, every day we learn something new in terms of what we must do to stay a leg up on these attacks that are taking place all across the United States these days. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Dr. Sarah Lee from Southern Miss.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here at I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
His love for the coast is why he's here. It's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. We have Dr. Sarah Lee with us. She's the director of the School of Computing Sciences and Computer Engineering at Southern Miss. And she's also involved in an organization called the Mississippi Coding Academies. I almost said a different name, the MCA. So why don't let's see, before we get to that, I want to come back to cybersecurity for just a second. When I was a publisher and president of media companies throughout my career, the technology part of our company was obviously active, constantly acting, working with third-party vendors, focused on making sure that our servers were safe and the work that we were doing internally was safe. But it seemed like on a pretty regular basis, as I got toward the end of my career in 2016, that the threats continued to increase. I know that cybersecurity has always been an issue, but what's happened these days is that those who are wishing to cause harm, at least using technology, it seems like that is like ramped up, tenfold just in the past couple of years. Is that true?
Absolutely. And, as more of our population is online and, we see senior citizens down to 2-year-olds walking around with an iPhone, as more of us are online devices, you probably heard of the Internet of Things, where we have smart TVs, we have smart refrigerators, a lot of things in our home that are connected to the internet. There are more things to attack there. And so the threats are increasing.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary because, like I said at the beginning of the show, there's no turning back. Technology will be part of where we are headed as a nation, as a set of countries around the world from this point forward. That's why there's so much opportunity. Hey, listen, one of the things I often say on this show, and I love to meet with people like Dr. Mary Graham from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, because, it's not always necessary for someone to go and get a 4-year degree. There are opportunities way beyond that pay just as if you were going to get a 4-year degree. And something in the technology arena, particularly as it relates to coding, it is a really significant opportunity, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we're seeing more and more of those alternative paths, alternative routes to computing jobs and cybersecurity jobs throughout this country. I'm happy that Mississippi's a leader in this. We have a model here that we've not been able to find anywhere else. And a lot of the companies we meet with and other stakeholders say, we haven't seen anything like this. We call it the Mississippi model.
I love when so when an organization called Innovate Mississippi, which you would hope would be all about innovation, and the Mississippi Development Authority representing the governor's office, when they are collaborating together in something called the Mississippi Coding Academies, it's exciting to see that the goal to do innovative things has actually been reached. And that will soon come to the coast. So talk to me specifically first about the Mississippi Coding Academies and what you guys are up to.
Well, the Mississippi Coding Academies are a nonprofit, and the program was launched in 2017. And we have been training individuals who have recently graduated high school, individuals who already have a 4-year degree, but it's not in a STEM field, it's not in a tech field. They're wanting to upskill for this digital economy that you've spoken of. It's an 11-month program, and they learn full stack software development. And what that means is they're learning how to develop the front end all the way to the back end, where we're connecting to databases and pulling data. And so the program's been very successful. It has also been really helpful with increasing diversity in computing jobs, which is my passion, as I shared earlier. We've had, I think in the last cohort, it was about 30% women. It was predominantly Black and African American participants who are very underrepresented in computing jobs. Across the country, only 3% of computing jobs are held by Black women. So that's the passion that drove me to leave FedEx and come do this work and to get involved with the coding academies, because it's education is not one size fits all. So we need alternative pathways.
What amazes me, though, is that you could actually develop a program that has a viable developer, someone who can literally sit down and begin to make an impact after only 11 months. How are you able to do that?
Well, it's not a typical classroom environment. It's very hands-on, active learning. We treat it, and we ask the participants to treat it like it's their full-time job. They're coming to work every day. So it's throughout the work day, the 8 to 5 work day. It's not I go to class a couple hours a day and then I'm off to something else. It's very intense and very directed, and we're able to get them skilled in 11 months. It's just not spread out over, semester by semester like when you go to college. And they're not taking other things. Yes, go ahead.
So Sarah, in the programs you guys have done so far, as you evaluate the students that come out, what are you seeing?
Well, we're seeing students, we're evaluating them when they come in too, and throughout the program. So there are some, benchmarks along the way to make sure they're making progress. But we're seeing motivated Mississippians who want to get to work, and they want to increase their earning powers, and that increases the quality of life not just for them but for their families as well.
I saw, it may be on something you guys sent to me, or maybe it's just something I found, where the average starting job is around $40,000 a year.
That's correct. The average starting salary has been between 38 and 40 for the Coding Academy since 2017. Most of the people who join the program are either unemployed or they're underemployed. We've had people who had degrees who were working in fast food restaurants, and so they come incredible. And they reskill, and they're able to go into these higher wage jobs.
So give me the specifics on what's going to happen in Biloxi this fall.
Okay, I'm super excited about the Biloxi Cyber Center that we're launching. So it's going to include the full stack software development curriculum that we're already doing at our sites. We have a location in the Golden Triangle. We have one in Jackson. So it's going to have that curriculum, but it's also going to have some additional modules that will be prepping the participants for an industry certification in cybersecurity. There are a lot of industry certifications. The one that we're targeting is one that's an entry point for a lot of positions in cyber, and it's focused in more the cyber defense part of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a lot of different things. And so that's going to be some additional modules. So it'll be a little bit more than the 11 months, but we're going to offer that cyber piece virtual as well. So you don't necessarily have to be in the classroom to do that. And the program in Biloxi is going to be hybrid in that the students will not have to go in person every day, Monday through Friday. They'll go some, and work with a cohort and work one-on-one with the instructor, but they'll also have the flexibility to do some of that virtually. And that's something that came out of COVID, that we learned that we can do that because we were forced to flip it to online in 2020, and we figured out that there's a sweet spot here, a mix where we can do this in a hybrid fashion.
Well, yeah, you need to be able to do it hybridly, because if you think about the whole notion of the Silicon Delta, it's reliant on the ability of software developers and those in the technology field doing their work remotely. And learning, we've come to understand this, particularly as it relates to technology. Learning is, we're very capable of learning in a remote way. That's a fast growing area. Just forget about the program we're talking about now as it relates to coding. You see the emergence of how technology enabled learning is just, in some ways it will never look back, will we?
Exactly. The world has changed. The normal, you hear people say, I'll be glad when things get back to normal, but normal is not going to be what we had before COVID.
So real quick, if someone wants to learn more about this program, where do they go? How do they learn more about the program?
They can go to mscoding.org, which is the website for the Mississippi Coding Academies. The application to apply for Biloxi is there. It's live, and we're accepting applications. I'm excited to say we've already gotten several. And we look forward to bringing this alternative route to the coast.
So how many students do you expect to get?
We are expecting to launch this first cohort on the coast with around 20 students. Just, to start out with a small cohort and get it going. It's a new program with the cyber piece, but ultimately we'd like to go up to 30 or 35 in a cohort. Now, what we have in other sites had cohorts that overlap, so I see us doing that on the coast, so that it's not that we have to completely finish this one before we start the next one. We'll have them overlapping.
That's super exciting. Hey, well, we're going to have you back as we get closer to the fall program, and we can talk about rolling it out. We can talk more about cybersecurity, because that should be sort of an ongoing topic, since people are hearing so much about it these days. But anyway, this has been Dr. Sarah Lee, the Director of School of Computing Sciences and Computer Engineering at the University of Southern Mississippi. Thank you so much for your passion in this subject, and thank you for your contributions to Coast of Mississippi.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to visiting with you again. So,
you bet. And I want to thank my friend Eric Hill from the Center for Entrepreneurship at Mississippi State for introducing me to Sarah. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to be talking with Kenny Vest, head of marketing and operations and other things at SuperTalk Mississippi Media Gulf Coast. We'll see you after this break.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and,
Wow.
All this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on SuperTalk Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi. Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth. When you want the truth. Simply because it might hurt some feelings. And nothing but the truth. Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast View. I really enjoyed that conversation with Dr. Sarah Lee from Southern Miss and the work that they're doing to create an opportunity for people to learn how to code, how to write code in the technology industry and be able to do it in 11 months is amazing. If you missed that conversation, you go to Facebook or YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and take a look at it. Hey, we're going to be coming to Kenny Vest, who works for SuperTalk Mississippi Media here in just a second, but I wanted to share something with you, something we've talked about on Coast View a lot, and that is that restaurants and other service industries, frankly, really this cuts across every industry, have had a really difficult time hiring people. And, they're having a little bit more success these days. And there's been a big debate about whether it was the additional supplemental $300 a month that was coming from the federal government for unemployment benefits, whether that was actually incenting people to stay home. And I ran across something on my Morning Brew read this morning. Morning Brew is a morning newsletter. And it said that there are now 26 states that, as they said it, have said thanks but no thanks. And what's really interesting, actually, is the data that's beginning to be gathered now. This is really early in the process, but listen to this. In states that cut off the extra benefits the earliest, the number of workers who were paid benefits decreased by 13.8% between mid-May and mid-June. That number fell 10% in states cutting benefits in July and only 5.7% in states that are still waiting this out until September. It's also notable that 25 out of the 26 states that access the benefits are actually led by Republican governors. So this is going to be very interesting to watch as we get more data and run this thing forward. And at the end of the day, whatever the reason, I just pray that our local businesses can have more luck because coastal Mississippi's economy is booming and they need employees. There's never been a more important time if you want to get out there and find a job to go do it now. You have the pick of the litter. So I really encourage you to do that. So now let's switch gears and move over to my friend Kenny Vest. He's head of operations for SuperTalk Mississippi Media Gulf Coast, and someone I've had the pleasure of working with now for about a year and a half. And before we go any further, just say good morning, Kenny. How are you, buddy?
Ricky, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Look, as you well know, Kyle and I have been partners in crime on Coast Vue, and I often refer to him as a jack of all trades. He does technology and operations and voice and so many different things. But what I've learned about you guys in the radio industry, because this is new to me, I was in the newspaper and digital business for most of my career. You really have to be a jack of all trades to do what you guys do, especially when you have multiple radio stations to tend to at any given time. Tell people what it is you do, Kenny, and the stations that you're responsible for.
Well, I'm the director of operations for 97.9 CPR Rocks, 105.9 The Monkey, G96.7 Casino Radio, 106.3. And yeah, we've been at it for a long time. Kyle and I have been working together for, 27 years, Kyle?
Yeah, since 94, 95.
Yeah, and I can tell you, without Kyle Curley, these stations would not be on the air right now. He literally is the backbone of this on the programming side. If something goes down, it's Kyle. IT, he does production, he does your show, he does afternoon traffic, he does news, and he's just one of those guys that, man, without him in this equation, we wouldn't be where we are right now, Kyle.
I appreciate it.
Hey, listen, Kenny, of course, we all got a great appreciation of what you bring to the table when we looked back at CPR and had some wonderful guests with us to talk about that incredible history. But it's so interesting to see that even today, you are as engaged in sort of the music selection side of things as you have been for, how long have you been doing that?
Well, since the day we signed on, which was September 20th, 1995, I believe. Scott Fox and I, every Tuesday, we sit down and we go over music. We've done it, again, 26 years, and we decide, what new music goes in, what new music goes out. And then we do something called rotations, where if we feel a song is becoming more popular, and we look at research and we look at the charts, and then we adjust our playlist. We move some to play more, some to play less, but it's a constant adjustment, and we do it every week, and we have been.
Kenny, in this day of high tech and the consolidating of radio stations across the country, you don't see anymore where you have local people, local operators like you guys sitting there working to fine-tune a station that has such a unique brand. In this case, it's CPR, but you're working in unique ways across all of the platforms, the radio platforms. But you really don't see that much anymore, do you?
No, it's rare. It really is. Most companies, one guy picks music for stations throughout the country or throughout their region, and we have been blessed here, even when we were with another company, one of the biggest companies in the business, fourth largest company before SuperTalk Mississippi took us over, and they still let us pick the music and let us make every decision here. We were never told what to play, what to do. So yeah, it's rare that we've had this opportunity for so long. But it's been successful. I mean, we're going on, 26 years now, and CPR is the strongest it's ever been right now.
That is really incredible. You think about it, CPR is the strongest it's ever been right now, even in this day of satellite radio. When I came from newspapers, I saw printed newspapers, failing, unfortunately, but that's just the reality that everything's moving to digital. When I came over the radio, I was very interested in learning more about the radio industry. How is satellite radio impacting things? How are the fact that people are listening so much on their iPhones? What's the latest in what we know as radio, just sort of the traditional radio, which is you guys refer to it as terrestrial radio. Yep. How is it doing? And what I've learned is, and in the scheme of things, it's really holding its own pretty darn well. I'm amazed, actually. And one of the keys is that that you guys are doing the work you're doing to really spend time selecting music in a way that fulfills the promise that you guys have made with channels like CPR and shows like SuperTalk, like Coast Vue on SuperTalk. And the other shows on SuperTalk, you're focused on making sure there's a lot of content that's local, whether it be from Mississippi or the Mississippi Gulf Coast. That's the key to success going forward, isn't it, Kenny?
It really is for stations like us. It's the key is to be local and live and local as much as possible. And you talk to you engage with the audience. Something that we do that in some other markets, even in this market, they don't have the ability to do that because it's all coming from somewhere else in the country. But everything we do comes out of here at our studios in Gulfport, and we make it a point to engage with our audience, to entertain the audience. I mean, people listen to the radio music stations to be entertained, for an escape, and we know that, and we do our best to entertain them, entertain our audience, and be local and be there. I mean, like if you're listening to satellite, it has its place. It's obviously successful, but there's certain aspects of local people wanting to hear the local weather, wanting to hear, audiences and listeners talking to our personalities on the air, and it's just local, and it's worked here.
Well, I think they want to hear weather. They want to hear news. The SuperTalk Mississippi Media News website, or website and effort, is not only rolled out to 26 stations that are part of the SuperTalk Mississippi Media across the state, but also an additional number of radio stations that total about 51 stations that they go through this network. That's one of the, I think, man, the fact that they built this kind of multi-dimensional integrated model is one of the reasons why radio in coastal Mississippi, particularly as it relates to SuperTalk Mississippi Media, has got a really good future ahead of it. One of the things that you've done, Kenny, over your career, though, is that you were very involved in creating the CPR Fest. You were very involved in the Gulfport Music Festival and other events. More recently, the food truck festival that we hired. We got another one that's coming up. We'll talk about it in the second portion of our conversation today, but a collaboration with the city of Gulfport. It's great to see events and concerts starting to come back, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. We pride ourselves on being the event cluster in the market, with Gulfport Music Fest over the years and CPR Fest. We're looking at doing more. We did the Food Truck Fest back in May. Didn't know what to expect because it wasn't a ticketed event. So, again, we didn't know if 20 people were going to show up or 100 people, and we ended up having almost 4,000 people. So it just shows on the coast the appetite to get out and start going to events again and enjoying stuff that's concerts and music-oriented and festivals. And it's certainly the perfect time, and we look forward to doing more of it.
Well, that story you just told, I mean, again, having been former CEO of a media company, that story you just told me another thing, and that is the power of these radio stations when they work together to promote an event is unparalleled. To expect a few people and have 4,000 people, that gives you a sense that when you're using the multiple radio stations owned by SuperTalk Mississippi Media to promote that event, that's a force, and you can look for success. We expect the same thing to happen with the collaboration with Gulfport and the event that's coming up this weekend. So why don't actually week after next, but we'll come back to you in just a second, Kenny, and continue our conversation after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Dale Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, 2 streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera slips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. We have the Director of Operations and other things, I might add, who's over multiple radio stations here in coastal Mississippi with SuperTalk Mississippi Media, Kenny Vest. Kenny, you know what's interesting to me, though? When I'm out and about, or oftentimes having conversations with people either on the air or off the air, if your name comes up, you have a big fan club. You know a lot of people. You've been here for a long time, and the wave you leave behind you is so positive. You know, what's your gift? How do you get that?
You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really have an answer to that. I just, you know, I treat people fairly. You know, we try to make, you know, good decisions and on the business side. And, you know, you got me. I don't know, Ricky.
Well, let me tell you what I think it has to do with. You follow through on what you say you're going to do. You have incredible integrity. And you're a nice guy. You know, we too often forget in the business of doing what we do It's okay to be nice. It's okay to be nice all the time, actually. You can still, have a tough message and still be nice. You don't have to necessarily, change your point of view about people in the world, and you're just a nice guy, and people see you for that. They love working with you. People who have collaborated with you over the many years see you as a major player, not only at this station, but in the community. And they just have such a pleasant experience. So, I congratulate you for leaving that kind of an impression on people. So, Kenny, tell me about the we were supposed to do the collaboration with Gulfport on the Ugly Tie event the weekend of the tropical storm. So we had to reschedule it. Talk to us about what's going on and where we're headed and what you expect.
Well, we expect it to be big, just like the Food Truck Fest. Working with David Parker and Billy Hughes and Rebecca and Laura, it's from the city. It's been unbelievable. Those guys, they make it, so easy to get everything done quickly. And they came to us, or actually, you're involved in this from the beginning. David went to you, and then David and I got together. But they had this event. It's called Ugly Tie Fest for Father's Day weekend, and they just wanted to get it to the next level and bring in some food trucks and the promotion that we did for our previous event. They wanted something similar to that, so we carved out a partnership. And unfortunately, whatever that was in the Gulf, I don't even think it was a tropical storm. It was something ruined it, but we've rescheduled it for July 10th, and we think it's going to be a huge event, and we think it could turn into a major event. Eventually in a year or a couple of years from now is the plan with the city and with SuperTalk Mississippi.
I love the idea. I've known George French from French & Sons literally my whole life. We were raised in Bayou together. And he's always been, he loved cars, but he especially loved motorcycles. And so he gets that. Vintage motorcycles, as David Parker and Billy Hughes talk about it, is a real interesting collection, the collectors in that area. And as it relates to French & Sons, they actually are not just doing local work; they're doing they're doing work across the United States. So to have them in Fishbone Alley, displaying their stuff, and by using sort of their contacts and making sure that people understand that if you have a motorcycle, a vintage motorcycle, even better, you should come to this event because I can see actually something that becomes like cruising the coast, but it's motorcycles.
Yeah, that's a big aspect of this, and there's also a drive-in for motorcycles that want to attend this event. And David has a bike himself, so he's part of that community. And again, this is a complete collaboration. So the city's handling that part. The city's handling most of the entertainment and the stage, and we're handling the food trucks and all of the marketing, which it's going to be a huge marketing campaign. Once again, it's going to be all over our radio stations. And, it's going to be a family event. It's going to be fun. And we really look forward to it. We really think this is going to be something that is going to be here for a while.
Well, all I did was introduce David to you. You took it from there. But what got their attention is the fact that we had done the food truck event that you mentioned earlier that was able to get about 4,000 people there. They saw how successful that was. And, Billy Hughes wanted to learn more about that. And, it's really interesting as it relates to food trucks. They've always sort of been around, but it seems like the pandemic kind of made us more aware of what a food truck offers. You see more on TV about food trucks, but man, there's just a lot of opportunities in that food truck arena these days, isn't there?
It really is. And the people that like food trucks, they're not afraid to wait in line. We had people waiting for literally 2 to 3 hours at our first event, and nobody's complaining. Nobody's, unhappy. It's just a good vibe. And it's a popular thing right now. Food trucks, they're the big cities. They do them almost every day for lunch, and having the best ones around all in the same location for an event is something that's really positive. And
hey, we're coming to the end of our time together, Kenny. Real quick, if someone has a food truck, could be a restaurant that also has a food truck, or someone who just does business to a food truck, where can they contact to get more information?
They can contact Jesse Alvarez, and it's simple email. It's jesse@supertalk.fm. That's JESSE @supertalk.fm, and he'll take care of you. we do have room for a couple more. So if anybody wants to be part of it, let Jesse.
The more the merrier. It's going to be a great event. Kenny, thanks for spending some time with us. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Ricky. Thank you, man. Had a good time.
You bet, buddy. Take care and have a great day.
Hey, you too.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.